Hi, and welcome back to Live at 5 again tonight. I'm Mike Luckee. I'm a past president of the Reno Rodeo, and welcome to the 100th anniversary of the Reno Rodeo. My guest tonight is a special guest. He's a great friend of mine, and he's a stock contractor from Red Bluff, California. John Growney, the president of Growney Brothers Rodeo. John, good to have you.
Okay, thanks for having me here. This is going to be fun.
It will be. John, why don't you tell the folks how you got into the stock contracting business to start with, and some of your escapades through your business career.
Okay, well, how I got started is I was probably about 6 years old, and it's the first time I ever saw Cotton Rosser, and he was working on a ranch there in Red Bluff, and he was married to Linda then. And so for some reason, I just chose to have him be my hero. And it wasn't a week later at the Red Bluff Roundup, he was competing in the bronc riding, steer wrestling, and team roping. And I knew that this was the guy that I liked for the rest of my life. And then later in life, he helped me actually get into the rodeo business. And then he'd let me pick up bucking horses at his rodeos. And I just admired who he was. And I wanted to emulate him. And I got lucky and I was able to do it.
Well, he's for sure the king of the Cowboys, and we're glad we've had him here for all these geez, almost 60, 40. I mean, we're looking at he's been our stock contractor here for darn near 60 years. So he's the king of the Cowboys,
Yeah.
the P.T. Barnum of the rodeo industry. But let's talk a little about your family. All your family's been involved in rodeo. Your father was a board member of the Roundup in Red Bluff. Your brother's arena director at the Roundup. He's been there forever. Your sisters are involved. Why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Well, to start with, my great grandfather, John O'Connor, was a charter member of the Red Bluff Roundup. He and John Treed's grandfather, great grandfather, they started or helped start the Red Bluff Roundup in 1922. So
Now back then they used to buy shares, right?
they did to get in.
Yeah, they bought shares
Right.
to
They,
put the thing on.
they actually owned shares, and they didn't make any money. It cost them money to do what they were doing. But they both knew that Red Bluff needed something that would stimulate the community and get it involved. And I don't think they knew, because neither one of them were cowboys, how great a thing they were doing. So it started with my great grandfather. Then my dad went on the Red Bluff Roundup board. Now my brother's on the Red Bluff Roundup board. And I think through them, and even being around Cotton Rosser when I was younger, that I thought I was a cowboy. I don't know if I was a real cowboy, but I think that's where you start thinking you're a cowboy.
Well, it's a little hard to compare yourself to Cotton Rosser as a cowboy.
Right. No, it does. So anyway, that's how our family got involved. And then my sister Margot is married to J.C. Trujillo, who's a world champion bareback rider, and
78, I believe, wasn't it?
82, I think. So anyway, there's a lot of blood flows in our family to be rodeos, but we were all raised in the automobile business, so we lived in town.
Um, Now back years ago, you all heard the matchup between Lane Frost and Red Rock, the world famous bull Red Rock. I'm sorry, the world's famous bull Red Rock, and John owned Red Rock, and the PRCA put on a special match tour for Lane and Red Rock. John, we want to tell the people a little bit about how that came about and what happened.
Okay, well, the PRCA didn't have anything to do with it because, anyway, it was Lane and I, and Jim Shoulders was the one that gave us the idea. But we had the Buck and Bull of the Year in Red Rock in 1987, and we sort of knew Lane was going to be, we were hoping Lane would be the world champion, and sure enough, he became the world champion bull rider in 87. So I got everybody together, and then Lane knew George Michaels from the Sports Machine, and then Kendra we both knew really well, Sue Rosoff, Linda Rosser was there to help us, and so we had the right people selling the right deal. And it was sort of like a no-brainer, because Lane had this ability to grab people to gravitate to him. And then Red Rock was this unridden bull. And in 1987, when he got elected by the Cowboys, Buck and Bull of the Year, we had this unridden bull, Buck and Bull of the Year, Lane Frost, world champion bull rider, and we put 7 matches together. We started at Red Bluff, we went to Clovis, went to Reading, where he rode him for the first time, then we went to Livermore, Sisters, St. Paul, Oregon, and then we ended at Spanish Fork, Utah. Lane ended up riding him 4 out of 7 times, but the matches had so much news media following it. USA Today followed it. George Michaels with his NBC station followed us, and then Sports Illustrated, the Chronicle and the Examiner, a very liberal newspaper out of the Bay Area. Everybody that was in media could understand that these two world champions were challenging each other, and it sold great. We sold out everywhere we went.
Okay, John. Thanks for coming again, and back to you, Ava.
How'd we do?
I think that